Here I am in my garden. The air is so thick today, and I think it's because of the Canadian wildfire smoke, that you can't really see the sun, although you know it's there, hot as hell, in day whatever of the current heat wave. But the smoke is so thick. Oh, there's the sun. The smoke is so thick, it's almost hard to breathe. And I am not asthmatic. And as I'm out here in my garden, looking at plants struggling to survive, and that includes even the hardiest of ferns, I'm thinking about the data center that's being shoved down our throats in East Whiteland Township, Chester County. Now, I'm a few miles from it, but there is no way we're not going to be affected by it, because data centers, among other things, suck water. And most of us are on wells. And then there's our energy bills. We're already feeling the costs of data centers. So what happens when we don't have water? What happens when we don't have water, East Whiteland? East Whiteland could have said no to this, in my opinion, in 2018, 2019, whatever. They could have just said, no, we don't want that in our municipality. But instead, here we are. And it's fear-based governance. They're so scared about what could happen to them that they seem to have forgotten what's going to happen to all of us. All of us. And now there are signs up over at Foot Mineral, that are basically like corporate welfare signs saying that the, data center is basically brought to you by Josh Shapiro. So yes, corporate welfare in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is brought to you by our lovely governor. And I can't for the life of me understand how a Democrat who is supposed to be environmentally friendly thinks data centers are environmentally friendly. And I'm allowed to ask those questions. I'm allowed to have that opinion, because last time I checked, they hadn't quite repealed the First Amendment yet. And then there is our local government structure. And there is one supervisor in particular that I find to be a great puzzle as I'm staring at my trees. His name is Peter Fixler. Now, I first became aware of him years ago when I went to my first meeting, because I think he lived somewhere near General Warren, and then he moved to the other side of the township. But I was never impressed. But when he ran for supervisor, I thought, well, maybe he'll be okay. So I voted for him. Biggest mistake ever, because he is the data center apologist. Anything that comes up, he has to justify why he's going to vote every time for this data center. And he did it at the most recent meeting again, when they were talking about field changes, which I'm not an engineer, I'm not a land planner, but how many times is that developer going to get a bite at the rotten apple? And everything they put in seems like big, huge changes, yet it's oh, that's okay. They can just do that. They already have a plan approved. They can just do that. I mean, I'm kind of paraphrasing there, and it's my opinion, but it's one of those things I don't understand. Anyway, back to Peter Fixler. I found out recently that he is the lead arborist for Morris Arboretum, owned by the University of Pennsylvania. I love Morris Arboretum. I actually have a camellia that was developed and grown and everything at Morris Arboretum in my garden. I am so proud to have that plant from that wonderful place in my garden. And yet that guy is the lead arborist. And I know many fine arborists. including the ones that take care of my trees. And I can't see them saying data centers are a good idea for all the tea in China. So why is Peter Fixler essentially going after the mission he is supposed to uphold as an employee of Morris Arboretum, owned by the University of Pennsylvania? How does he think this is all okay? I don't get it. Does that mean Morris Arboretum likes data centers? I'm allowed to ask that question too. I just don't understand. But then again, I didn't understand how years ago that woman that was some big fish helping run French and Pickering thought eminent domain for private gain was okay at Ludwig's Corner Horse Show in West Vincent. I don't understand any of this. I don't understand how we are being put at such risk. And let's talk about all those laws that are supposed to be for streams and water and stuff in Pennsylvania, like the clean stream laws, whatever they're called. Again, not an expert, but there's this section in there about brown water. And basically all of the things that use water have to discharge it so it's kind of clean, right? So if you're discharging water that cool the things on the data centers and you're putting it back out into the environment, and the data center's being built on an EPA site known as Foot Mineral, how does that work? How is any of the water that's ever going to be discharged in any amount ever going to be anything other than brown water? So, do our laws no longer apply? Do our rights no longer apply? Look at that sun. It's so terrible out here today, and yet so beautiful. But are we going to be fated to have a Logan's Run existence in the future because my municipality is one of the ones who's putting in a data center? Well, not them personally, but they're allowing them to be put in. So any of you municipalities out there who think data centers are a good idea, where are we all supposed to go when this goes south? No one can answer this question. What happens when we have days like this and heat waves like this? I'm so sad.